Star Wars Battlefront. Is it worth a buy? May the words be with you. Feel the ominous thud of an AT-AT, AT-AT Mac, stomping down from the frozen tundra of Hoth. Zip through the lush forests of Endor on an Imperial speeder bike while dodging incoming blaster fire. Engage in intense dogfights as squadrons of X-Wings and TIE fighters fill the skies. Immerse yourself in the epic Star Wars battles you've always dreamed of and create new heroic moments of your own in Star Wars Battlefront. So what is Star Wars Battlefront? Well, firstly, it doesn't at all feel as if it's a successor to Star Wars Battlefront 2. Anybody who's played that game is going to be confused. Because one of the things that made Star Wars Battlefront 2 such a good game back in its day was the class system. You could choose to be a different class of player. You didn't have to be just a basic grunt. You could be engineers and all kinds of stuff. But in Star Wars Battlefront, this new one, you can't do that. You have no class system whatsoever. It's just dumbed down. So let's start then. You have a lot of different game modes in this, which are good. I think in practice, what they've done here with the design of the game modes, I can't really fault it. You've got open world 40-player maps that have objectives and various means of getting that objective done using vehicles, very similar to Battlefield. You've got your classic capture the flags, in this case it's capture a droid or something. You've got your domination based games, which you have to have them in because they've been around since the early 90s, the classic game modes, and I would be very disappointed if them game modes weren't in. As I am if there's no team deathmatch, and this has team deathmatch as well. It also has a really nice mode where you have to fight the heroes. Now the heroes being the Emperor, the Bounty Hunter, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo and Princess Leia. And what you'll do is the rebels will get Leia, Solo and Luke, and the Empire will get Palpatine and Darth Vader and Boba Fett. And 3 players will be them, and the rest of you are grunts. And obviously you have to kill their heroes. Whoever kills their heroes first wins. And it rotates, so if you were a grunt last game, you'll be a hero the next game, and so on and so forth. I like that because the heroes are good in this particular setting, and the maps aren't too big, which makes for even more intense gameplay. There's also a Starfighter one where you have X-Wings and A-Wings against TIE fighters and TIE interceptors, and there's a bit of a side mission going on where you have to destroy the cargo and all the rest of it. The game modes on paper are brilliant. I can't fault them. These are the kind of game modes that I would have kind of put in if I was behind this game. Where this game fails miserably is in the execution of these game modes. I can't comment on who designed all this lot, but it's very clear to me that whoever was behind the design of the maps is not a seasoned, experienced gamer. It's clear to me. Just because you can come out of university and program does not make you a good game developer. And this game oozes amateurism. It oozes mistakes. They are everywhere. It's a mess. It's an absolute fucking mess. It really is. So let's dissect it for the people who are wondering whether or not this is worth actually buying, bearing in mind this is a AAA full-priced game. It looks amazing. It looks incredible. It's probably the best looking game I've ever played in my life. When everything is in full swing in one of the 40-player battles and you've got TIE fighters and X-Wings fighting over your head with players piloting them. They're not just effects. That's an actual thing going on between players. And then you've got a big AT-AT. I'm going to call them AT-ATs because that's what I want to call them. And then your AT-STs running around fighting, and there's missiles going off, and there's the music kicking in the background, and you see stormtroopers and rebels all over. You just think, my goodness, I am in a Star Wars film. That's how your first impression is when you go into this. Your jaw just drops. It is incredible, guys. Absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, after you've played it for about 10 minutes, your jaw no longer is on the desk. It's firmly back where it should be as you shake your head thinking, what the f*** is this shit? It's the maps and the progression system. That's the problem with this game. Let's start with the progression system. The progression system in this game is your typical Call of Duty progression system, which I don't know where it came from, but it needs to go away. Because you start off with a pop gun. A pop gun. It's awful. And anybody who's been playing it for a few more hours than you has a decent gun. And so when you meet that person in a corridor, you die. Yeah. It doesn't matter how skilled you are, you die. Because you might have to hit him 8 or 9 times to kill him. He just has to connect twice and you drop like a sack of shit. And I was being killed left, right and centre. But a lot of the kills weren't from one-on-one duels. They were just called random death events, as I like to call them. RDEs. There you go, I've just made that up. You see, a grenade. Oh, not intended for you, but bam. Oh, a homing missile intended for you. Where'd it come from? Knows. You can't tell because the map has no kind of synergy to it. It's just a big splodge. But you're dead. Oh, you've just run along there. You're dead. What? I was an at over there. He killed you that time. Alright, okay. I've spawned anyway, so I'm fine now. No, you're not, because you've spawned in a room full of the Empire soldiers and they've just shot you. Dead again. Okay, I'll spawn again. Right, I've spawned. I'm going to follow this guy. He knows. Oh, I'm dead again. It's a dying simulator, guys. It's a dying simulator. That's what this is. You die from random shit just going on everywhere. It's not a skill-based game at all because I've played it now for about 10, 11 hours and I'm rank 12 or something. I don't even know what rank I am. And it is so imbalanced. You have people with jetpacks, people with impact grenades. What an impact grenade is, it instantly detonates when it hits something. So you can imagine, I've got my thermal detonator which has a beep, 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 bang. Well, as soon as you hear the beep, 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 you run away from that. But they have a grenade that when they throw it, boom, you're dead. So imbalanced. You just meet someone, and oh, by the way, the grenade respawns every few seconds, so it's just a spam fest of grenades, this game. There are grenades everywhere. Now, let's go back to Star Wars the movie. I watched all of them multiple times because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I can only ever remember 2 instances of grenades in the entire of the 6 films. 2 times I saw a grenade thrown in Star Wars. So, why are we having grenade spamming events in Star Wars? I don't know. So as you kill more and win more games, you earn money and you can buy guns with that money, better guns. You can buy shields. You can have a shield that will stay on you for 7 seconds. 7 seconds. So you can have an impact grenade, a jetpack, and this shield. Also with your much better gun. And then somebody who's just got the game comes around the corner, you will rape their face, sunshine, without even blinking. They can't do shit to you. Yeah, that's good, isn't it? That's a good game of skill. No, this game isn't about skill at all. It's about time played, getting better gear, and then owning people who don't have good gear. Once I got a decent gun, honestly, I was running around mobbing them up. It was just like child's play. I was coming either top or second. I was in the top 3 pretty much every game I played. Simply because I'm an experienced FPS player, but also because I had a better bloody gun than most of the people I was playing against. I didn't use impact grenades. I had them. And I just thought, I'm not using these. They're just bullshit. They should be taken out of the game. In fact, take all the grenades out of the game. Why do we even have grenades in a Star Wars game? What is the point? But as you play more, you realise that this isn't really a Star Wars game. It's Call of Duty. It's Battlefield. It's like Battlefield and Call of Duty had sex, and this is what was born. And you know how some people dress their dogs up in fucking stupid coats. You know, the stupid coats. Why? What? Dogs, if you haven't noticed, dogs are already fucking furry. They don't need a coat. You know? Do you know what happens with a dog? I'll tell you what happens with a dog. It molts. Do you know why dogs molt? They molt. Dogs molt because when winter comes, they get a winter coat to keep them warm. Yes, because nature's already planned for it. When it's summer, they molt out of their winter coat and get a thinner summer coat so they don't sweat too much. See, nature takes care of it. But some stupid goes out and buys a little fucking coat for their dog. My doggy needs a little coat. No, it fucking doesn't. It's got one. Are you fucking blind, you silly c***? Yeah, all you're doing is you're just fucking up nature by fooling the dog into thinking that it's not back. Get on with it. So this is like the baby of Battlefield and Call of Duty. And when it came out, they dressed it up as a fucking Ewok. The map design is what makes this game bad. It is the map design of this game. There is no synergy in any of the maps. I've never done a flanking maneuver. You don't need tactics. There is none. You can't possibly put tactics down in this game, simply because the spawning is just fucked up beyond belief. You have no idea where they spawn. What happens is, when you die, I think all the dead players go into a hat, it's shook around a bit, and then they throw it up in the air, and it's there. That's where you spawn. You landed there, you spawn there. You landed there, you spawn there, and that's it. I mean, I've spawned in the room. I mean, I've run into a room, and the whole fucking room is suddenly filled with stormtroopers. As like 4 or 5 of them spawned in there. I've spawned almost underneath an AT-AT before. It's just ridiculous. Absolute ruins the game. You know, spawn with then a grenade lands on your head. I mean, I was in a ATST, and there was a spawn point, and I just mowed everybody down that spawned there. They just all spawned, went hey, hey, and then I just went bang, bam, 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 dead. Unbelievable. And also as well, the maps all look bland. There's no real markers to give you an idea of where you are. You are constantly running around like a headless chicken. Where the f*** am I? What? It's just another snowdrift. It's another snowdrift and a rock. There's the same rock and a snowdrift round there. I don't know where the hell I am. I know you have a mini-map, but yeah, it's pretty poor. And also as well, guys, in Capture the Flag mode, it's like you'd be sitting guarding the flag, and then it'll say, you'll hear a voice of, if you're on the rebel side, you'll hear the voice of Leia or somebody say, enemy soldiers are in the flag room, kind of. And it's like, why are you telling me this? I've got a pair of fucking eyes, but it warns you. It just holds your hand. Even in multiplayer, it's like, you know, enemies are nearby, we are outnumbered in this room, are you getting the hint? So now I know that there's Empire soldiers in here, and there's more of them in here than there is defenders. I don't want that information. The whole point of a multiplayer game is to find that out for yourself. Let's go with the 40-player battles a second, and I'll show you why it's so bad. Obviously there's the random death events. You're just dying all the time. Now, the reason you're dying all the time is because of the way the map is laid out. What you should have done with a map like this, if you're going to have the battle for Hoth, then have the rebel base at one side of the map and the Empire landing on the other side of the map, and the Empire make their way towards the rebel base. Have it a very wide map so you can use flanking maneuvers with your ATST and maybe coordinate an attack on the left side of the enemy line, which renders the right side of the enemy line pretty much useless, and then maybe take the left side of the line and flank all the way up and run up the line and kill them all. That is tactics. That's what we used to do in the old school games, but apparently now let's not bother with any of that because no one gives a f***. I mean, has anyone of you played, for example, Alterac Valley in World of Warcraft, for example? That is a typical example where you have a very big map. Now, I'm not talking about World of Warcraft as it is today in its dumbed down children's mode. I'm talking about rewinding maybe 6 or 7 years when Alterac Valley used to take hours. You would have at least 6 or 7 strategies on how to win that game. And you knew where you had to attack from. There was always sort of, you would spawn back in behind your lines, they would spawn behind their lines. You would then have to decide, hang on, how am I going to do this? Should we go on the left flank? Should we go on the right flank? Should we tame the wolves? Should we try and get our infantry going? Should we try and get the NPC cavalry going? There was loads of different ways of doing it. But nowadays, when you have these games, there is none of that. None of that. It's all down to throwing everybody in a big cauldron, pewing each other. Just pew 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 pew. That's what it is. It's just people running around pewing. There's no kind of, I don't know what I know I've got to get to that uplink. I know I've got to do that, but just pew you were there. But that's boring. Yeah, no, but that's the game, isn't it? Just get with it, man. What's wrong with you? This is how gaming is today. You just pew your way in. Yeah, but I'll die like 6 or 7 times. Just pew. You respawn and then just pew again. What? That's it. You can't just flank it. No, just pew. Just look, there's a big thing there pewing. There's a little guy over there pewing. Just pew pew. They're just pew pewing. We all just pew pew. That's all you do now when you play Call of Duty. All right, I've just played Call of Duty multiplayer. The new one, Black Ops 3. Pew pew. That's all that is. Pew pew. Battlefield 4. Pew pew. Just pew pew. Just Mac. You're not with it, son. It's 2015. You just pew pew. Just pew pew. That's all you gotta do is pew 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 pew. Just pew pew. Just everybody else is pew pewing. What's wrong? Why do you want flanking? That just pew pew. We like pew pew. Pew pew's in. Everybody pew pew. Let's do the pew pew. Let's do the pew pew. And if you pew pew a lot, you get better weapons to go pew pew pew. And then you can just pew pew some more. It's just a big fucking pew pew. Pew 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 pew. That's gaming today, guys. And that's all you'll ever get out of a game as bland and boring as Star Wars Battlefront. It's just a giant pew-pew event without any strategy, any tactics, or any decent maps to be able to do tactics on it. And I wish I'd been in charge of this. I really do, because I can't program to save me life. But I tell you what, I could design a map. And I could design a map that would make games so much fun, to make battles so much better. And that's the problem. There's no creative game players in game development anymore. It's all these people coming out of university, people who can animate, people who can do nice graphics. I'm sorry, but we need people out there that can actually make decent maps, that people that know how to play. We need gamers in charge of these things, proper seasoned gamers in charge of these kind of games, and we don't have it. And if you buy this game, you're spending £40 on just a mass pew pew event, and the different game modes are just various ways of going pew pew. The map, I didn't find any good maps in the entire game, even in Capture the Flag, which is probably my favourite game mode in this game, but is one of my least favourite game modes in general. But you know, this is how bad this game is. I actually think the Capture the Flag mode, and this is one of the only decent game modes, that along with Team Deathmatch, all the other, and obviously there's the hero one, but the maps aren't very good in any of them. I didn't find one good map in any of the games that I've played, and I've played every game mode, even the 2-player co-op, which is incredibly easy on normal. I mean, we were just coasting through it, and you know, it might be more fun on hard, but it's just 15 waves of just dumbass bloody NPCs to just annihilate, and it was just boring as fuck. It really was. The whole game is boring. I've stopped playing it now. I'm done with it. I've had me 10 hours, and the last 4 were a chore. I mean, coming top of the leaderboards in the top 3 didn't have any kind of wow, that felt good, you know. I just didn't feel anything. It was just kind of, I didn't feel as if I was a better player than anybody in there, to be honest with you. I just felt, alright, I've got a better weapon than you lot. You know, that's why I came top. It's just, you don't really get a chance to use skill in this game. It isn't a skill-based game at all. It's just, and it's not a fun-based game. It's just a pew-pew fest. That's all you'll see. Go in the game, if you don't believe me, all you'll see is grenades flying everywhere, missiles flying everywhere, and people just shooting each other from everywhere. They could be in front of you, to the left, to the right, behind you. There is no synergy. There is no sense of fighting the Battle of Hoth. There is no sense of fighting the Battle of Endor. It's just, hey look, I'm playing Call of Duty in Star Wars skins. That's what you're doing. That's what, if you've played any multiplayer shooter in the last 5 years, just stick Star Wars skins on it and you've played this game. There's nothing more to see. It offers nothing. No classes, no real strategy, no team play. It's just a big fucking pew pew event, and it's bullshit. And is it worth £40? Is it? It's not worth £20 in my eyes. I don't know what it's worth, but I wouldn't touch it with a fucking barge pole if you want any kind of real meaty, in-depth game. Can I just end on this? In 1996, I was playing 128 player tribes matches. 128 players, guys, in tribes, where we had 2 bases miles apart from each other. We had classes, we had artillery classes like mortaring, big mortar suits. We had scouts that could run fast. We had machine gunners. We had snipers. We had vehicles that were solo vehicles. We had vehicles that would carry passengers. We could hover. You had jetpacks. You could assault different bases from different angles. You could employ all kinds of strategy in that, loads of different weapons, and you could have access to every one of them from the get-go, so it was a complete level playing field the way it should be. And these games were fun. We played them for hundreds of hours because they were great. They were much better than the shite that you get shoveled now. And this was in 1996. It's now 2015, and all they can do with a multiplayer game is give us a big fucking pew-pew mess with fucking no synergy, no strategy, just a big fucking map. There you go. Everybody in there fucking shoot the fuck out of each other. Whoever shoots the most gets a better fucking gun and a fucking jetpack and an impact grenade and all manner of other stuff to make you fucking imbalanced, and the game's just a big fucking cluster of an event. It's bullshit, and it isn't worth anywhere near the asking price. Fucking where's all the good gaming companies gone? I don't know. I think they've gone. The gaming industry's